Hey guys, I've got an absolutely killer digital marketing strategy for you today. So I'm going to give you 10 steps to create an awesome marketing strategy. And this is perfect for bloggers, content creators. It's really good for affiliate marketers, CPA marketers. It's good for coaches, mentors. It's good for freelancers, service providers, influencers, and it's even really effective if you're running an e-com store. So practically anyone who's doing business on the internet can benefit from this absolutely killer digital marketing strategy. It's 10 steps that are all really easy. And listen, if you want me to go deeper into any of these steps, let me know in the comments. Just tell me what you need help with. I'll create more videos to go deeper into that area. But this today is just the 10 steps that you need to implement. In fact, I've already covered a lot of these steps on my videos and on my podcasts. So if there's anything that you like more of, just let me know in the comments below and we'll get to that too. So 10 steps to a killer marketing strategy. It all starts with knowing your audience. So you hear this said an awful lot, but what does it actually really mean? When people say you have to know who you're speaking to, you have to have an avatar, you have to have a buyer persona. What does that mean? Well, it's actually really simple. So you have to know the aspirational group that they want to belong to. What's an aspirational group? If we think about Apple versus Windows or versus PC, Apple created a campaign way back almost 2 decades ago called Get a Mac. So they created the idea of an aspirational group around Mac as a group of people who are laid back, chilled out, cool guys versus a Windows user who is kind of stuffy and not really with it. So they created the idea of this aspirational group, someone who's cool. So you have to think about the aspirational group of your audience. If you're into digital marketing, maybe, then the aspirational group could be entrepreneurs, successful entrepreneurs, could be millionaires. Think about the aspirational group for your audience. If you're in weight loss, then it could be the skinny guy with the six-pack abs. That could be the aspirational group. So you need to figure out who your audience wants to belong to. Once you know that, you have to decide on the demographics you're going to target. So that really comes down to a few things. So it's the gender, the location. If you're going to target based on location, you don't have to do that. You could actually just split your niche in half and remove half the competition by just focusing on one specific gender within your audience. And I know a lot of the people I speak to, when I say, who's your audience, who are you trying to target? And they say, well, I want everyone to visit my website. I want everyone to buy my product. Of course you do. Everyone wants that. But just because that's what you want, it doesn't mean that's what's going to happen. In fact, if you target everyone, what happens is you end up reaching no one. When you try to appeal to everyone, you actually appeal to no one. So you have to get really specific, know exactly who you're speaking to, know your aspirational group, know the demographics, the gender, the location, the income level, the education level, that kind of thing of your audience. And also, most importantly, you have to know the psychographics. What psychographics? Psychographics are the values, the interests, the motivations of your audience. So this is what's going to really create that connection with you. So when you communicate with them, you have to communicate that you share the same values. Maybe you've shared the same struggle. So you can communicate that through storytelling, through your marketing. So that's the first step. Absolutely, you have to know your audience, know who you're speaking to. Then you have to, the slide's not working, there we go. Know your specific goals. You have to know where you're going. If you don't know where you're going, you're not going to get anywhere. So how do you figure out what your specific goals are? Figure out what what it is you want to achieve. So you might say, well, I want to make money on the internet. How much money? How much money do you want to make every month in order to replace that boring 9-to-5 job? Or maybe you've already joined us and you are making your living on the internet. You just want to make more money. Well, how much more? How much more do you need to increase your conversion rate by? And listen, a 1% increase in conversion rates, a 1% increase in your conversion rate is huge. So it's okay to just aim for a 1% conversion rate, a boost in a 1% conversion rate. So know exactly what you want to achieve. So that could be to increase your revenue. It could be to increase your traffic. If it is that, how much more traffic do you want to get? You should be in a place where you know that if you get 100 visitors to your website every day, that translates into X amount of profit. That's the level of thinking that you need to have to make this thing really work. So it's really about knowing your numbers. And then you can say, well, okay, if I get an extra 50 people to my website every day, that's X amount every month. That means I'm going to increase my revenue or my conversion rate by X% every month. So know your specific goals, exactly what you want to achieve. And then when you know that, you have to do keyword research. So there's a few reasons we do keyword research here. The first one is to validate your ideas. Make sure that there's an audience receptive to those ideas. Because if no one's searching for your ideas or what you intend to offer, there's no audience, there's no buyers, there's no money. So you have to validate your ideas. Then we do something, it's called adaptive search volume. What's adaptive search volume? Okay, a lot of marketers will tell you to target a specific search volume of X amount every month. That's okay. That might be what works for them, and that's cool. But you have to realize that they have probably been doing this for a while. So what their search volume is right for them every month is not necessarily going to be what's right for you. The whole thing with this thing, there's so many variables, and there's no one size fits all solution. There's no one size fits all solution. So we have to be adaptive. I'll explain what I mean. So if you have a new website, you might want to create content, which we'll get to in a second, but you might want to target a search volume of around 100 searches per month. SPM, searches per month. And I know that seems really low, and it is, right? But you have to think about how the search volume and competition levels compare. So if you're targeting a keyword that has got 100 searches a month and a low competition level, it's going to be easier to get people to your website, to your content, than if you were competing with a higher traffic and higher competition keyword. So remember that 100 people a month is better than no people a month. So we have to start small and increase. So when your website is established and you know that you can rank for content, you know that your marketing channels are in place, everything's good, then you move up to targeting 1,000 searches per month. And then you go on from there. So when your website is established, and I would say established is around 6 months old. So it takes that amount of time for Google to really not index your website, but to kind of give it more authority. So a 6-month-old minimum website should be going for around 1,000 searches per month, providing that you're actually working on this thing and you're not just leaving it dormant to do nothing. So that's the approximate search volume that I would suggest you go for. And then When you know what keywords you're going for, you know the search volume to target, then you create educational content. So the content must be educational. Absolutely needs to take someone on a journey to help solve their problem. It also needs to be evergreen. What's evergreen content? Well, it's content that is going to be relevant all the time. So it's not going to go out of fashion. It's not because it's part of a trend or a fad. It's something that people will be searching for 2 years down the road, 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road. It's evergreen. People are always going to be interested in this topic, in those keywords. And how you do that, how you make sure that you are targeting evergreen content, is just go on Google Trends, have a look at the search volume for that particular key phrase. If it's got like a big spike and then a huge drop off, that's a trend and you want to avoid it. But if it's a steady increase or a flat line right across the years, then you know it's evergreen content. It also must be original content, so no spinning content. And I know people love to spin content because it's easy. But if you're doing that, you're doing yourself and your website a disservice. It's got to be original. It's got to have that personality. It's got to have you in it. And it must be high quality. Spun content isn't high quality. We know that. Even the best article spinner, I think there's actually a program called the Best Article Spinner, but even the best article spinners out there cannot replace a human brain. So create high quality content that is original. Once you have your content sorted out and your keyword research done, you need the right marketing channels. What are the right marketing channels? It sounds kind of obvious, but they're actually wherever your audience hangs out in large numbers. That's the right marketing channels. So think about the social media platforms that they use. Maybe more of your audience tends to use Twitter over Facebook. So you might want to start with Twitter in that case. And another important aspect of social media marketing is actually choosing the channels that you will be able to commit to. So I know a lot of people will start, and listen, I'm one of them. I'm terrible with Twitter. I'll keep start and stop with Twitter, and I just don't really get it. So I'm speaking from experience here. But on the flip side, Facebook, I'll use Facebook all day long if I can. So I can commit to using Facebook. And that's thankfully where a lot of my audience hangs out too. So you have to choose the right social media channels that you can commit to. And I know you can use tools like Hootsuite or Buffer to automate your social media posting, and you can schedule it in advance, and that's great. But there is nothing like being able to have a real conversation with your audience, a back and forth dialogue. And these schedulers don't really allow you to do that. So I believe you have to do it for real. You have to get involved in the social media networks that you feel comfortable with and do it for real. Sure, automate everything, schedule it in advance with Buffer or Hootsuite or whatever, it's fine. Do that. But I think if you want to really grow that audience, really create that connection, you need to have that dialogue, and that dialogue changes from moment to moment, doesn't it? So you need to do it for real. Another, another marketing channel is your blog. Such an underrated resource. People don't consider their blog an actual marketing channel. They think of, well, hey, okay, I'll just publish once a week and it'll all be good. But what happens if you take elements of each of your blog posts, just a paragraph, just an image, just a quote, and you break it up and you use these as micro content or satellite content, and you distribute these little pieces of micro content around social media? Think about the power of that. Think about how much juice you will get from each piece of content you make. You could get 10 or 20 additional pieces of micro content from every article you write. So repurpose it, reuse it. Also, guest blogging is a marketing channel. If you're lucky enough to get on some fairly high traffic blogs and get links from those and put yourself in front of that audience, that's a great opportunity to direct traffic into your system, into your funnel, into your email list, which we'll get to in a second. Also, forums and communities. Think about Slack. Think about what they call bulletin boards, forums. And I know there's a decline in use of forums all over the place, really, since Facebook came along with their groups, and that's fair enough. But if you okay, there's less traffic on forums, but there's also less competition. So if you find niche relevancy is a big part of this. If you embed yourself on relevant forums, you can do pretty well as well. Next, I said we're going to talk about email. So once you have your marketing channels all set up and you're bringing traffic into your website, we need to convert that traffic into email subscribers. How do you do that? Well, it's a really simple process. We use a lead magnet, and that's it. So a lead magnet is just a free gift that we give people in exchange for subscribing to your email list. And it's got to be relevant. You have to make sure that it matches the problem that you identify with your keywords and on your blog post. So it has to have that level of relevancy and help take them further on their journey. That's it. That's the fast way to build an email list. Then when they're on your email list, you have to have an email campaign. So this will do a few things. It's going to help deliver useful content to your audience. So you deliver helpful content to them. And this is going to, again, have to be relevant. So think about why they're on the email list in the first place, how they found you, the keywords you used, the content you create. Make sure everything all matches, it is relevant. And then you can use stories to build the trust. If they don't trust you, they ain't going to buy from you. They ain't going to buy stuff based on your recommendations. So only when you have that level of trust and you've delivered value, then you convert your subscribers into customers. And you do that by pitching relevant offers. Again, we've got this relevancy. It's such an important aspect of what we do. So there's an important thing that you need to remember when you're promoting content to your email list, and that is to don't churn and burn your list. So many people screw up when it comes to this. They build an email list of a few hundred or a few thousand people, and then they build up all the goodwill and all the trust and everything that you need to do business with people on the internet. They build it up. They spend a lot of time and energy creating that. What happens? They pitch an offer. They get results. Oh my God, this stuff works. It's amazing. And then they think, okay, I've made X hundred today. In a single day, I've made so many hundreds of dollars. What happens if I do it again tomorrow? And then they do it tomorrow. And then they make more money. And then they do it again and again. And what happens is their goodwill that they've amassed starts to decline. And so does the profit they make. It starts to decline over time. And that is because they are churning and burning the email list. They're squeezing it for everything they can too quickly. You got to think of it like milking a cow in a way. So you don't take everything all at once. You take a little bit and then you leave it and then you go back, take a bit more. And that's how you work your email list. So in between the times that you pitch in products, you absolutely have to deliver value. You have to be on their side. And then when it comes to pitching products, you only recommend the products that you are absolutely 110% sure they will benefit from. So you put their needs above your own. I see so many marketers building up an email list and then just screwing it up because they think, well, hey, there's money in this thing. Let's milk it for everything it's worth. And then what happens? It becomes churn and burn. People lose interest. They lose faith in you. They see you as just someone who wants to reach into their pocket all the time and take their money without delivering value. And that's why you have to earn the right to sell. You have to earn the sale. So in between those pitches, and it's good to pitch, it is. I think if you pitch every week, maybe once a week, fine. But in between those pitches, deliver value. Think about what your audience needs that day. And if you look at how I do things, you'll notice that most of my emails from week to week don't contain any pitches. All they have is useful, helpful content that I know people will appreciate and find value in. And then, every now and then, when I think I have something that will be of benefit to people, I'll say, hey, I've also got this. You might like it. And it's a low pressure, non-hypey, laid back kind of way to sell. And it works. And it keeps people subscribed. It keeps them engaged with what you're doing because they trust you and they know that you're on their side. You're not just trying to get as much money out of them as you can. So avoid the temptation to churn and burn, because if you do the churn and burn thing, you'll notice that you are constantly trying to get new leads into your email funnel. And that's where your energy is. You should be doing that anyway, okay? But you want to deliver value first, build up a massive audience on your email list, and then just promote every now and then instead of this constant barrage of offers. If you want to kill your email list and have to invest in advertising and really promoting your lead magnet, don't just avoid the temptation to milk the email list for all it's worth. Just milk it every now and then. Leave it. Okay. Next, when you're making money, you're getting results, it's time to measure those results. So what do you need to pay attention to? You got to find out what's working. So this stuff should be pretty obvious. So to find out what's working, you look at your traffic level, you look at your traffic sources and see which ones are performing best for you. Then you look at your page views, you look at which content is performing best. You have an idea of really what's working well for you. You also have a look at your conversion rates. So we look at the conversion rate of your offer, your lead magnet. How well is that converting? So maybe you get, 100 people to your website every day and 10% convert into email subscribers. Then you look at how many of that 10% convert into buyers. So you look at both conversion rates. Once you have an idea of your traffic level, your page views, and your conversion rates, then you optimize and you test. So we don't want to just sit back and be complacent about things. We want to grow our business, right? And the best way to do that is to do more of what works. So we've looked at the results, we've found out what's working and why it's working, and then we do more of that. So we optimize it. So we create more of that type of content, and we also split test your controls. So what does split test your controls mean? Well, maybe you have a lead magnet and it's converting at 10%. Well, what if you split test that, create a second version of it, maybe a different offer or a slight twist on what you're already offering, and you test that instead. So you might want to run 1,000 visitors to that offer, see how it converts. And if you can get a 1% conversion rate, 1% boost in conversions on that, you're doing it really well. And then that beats the control. And then you apply the same thing to your offers. So a lot of autoresponders will allow you to run split test emails, which is fantastic. So you can run 2 different versions, 3 or 4 if you want to get really fancy. But I would recommend minimum of running 2 split test email campaigns. So for every email you send, you have 2 versions. So you test the subject line, you test the copy, you test the actual offers as well, and then you find out which ones are performing best, and then that becomes your control. And then you create another copy of that and you test that one. And you're always testing. Never stop testing. Never stop optimizing. Because that 1% conversion rate, that 1% boost in conversions is huge. And if you can boost your conversion rate by maybe like 3% over the course of a year, that's 3% more profit every year. Of course, in reality, you're probably going to increase your conversion rate by a lot more than that. So, if there's anything here that you need more help with, let me know. Tell me in the comments, won't you? Because this is just the beginning, really. And I know we're talking about marketing strategies, but what about traffic strategies, right? It all really starts with traffic. If you don't have traffic, you don't have any money. So the more traffic you make, the more money you make. And if you want traffic, I'm going to give you loads of untapped traffic sources when you go to profitcopilot.com/traffic. Nothing's going to cost you a penny. And if you found this useful, give it a thumbs up below, subscribe to the channel too, hit that little notification bell so you never miss an update from me. And I will hopefully see you again in a couple of days' time. Take care, guys.